The life you're living now of the wealth, that's like the new norm to you, right?
It's very difficult to keep your mind switched on like it used to be 10 years ago in regards to the price of things. I don't know how much bread and milk are and various things like this. Or, you know, when you spend money or when you buy a new car, the feeling of excitement isn't quite there like your first ever supercar. And I try my very best to think like the old Tristan. How would I feel at 19 if I had just booked this 140 grand private jet flight to Miami? You become slightly numb to it.
This is what I'm thinking, because when you're linking up with these people from your past days, does it make you think, yeah, man, I miss the brokey days. I miss the life where you don't have to really care so much about this or that, and you have those people around you just hanging around them?
Well, the thing is, I still have those people around me. Most of my friends who I've known for 15, 20 years, and I still speak to the same people. I mean, Rory, a lot of you know, Marcel, a lot of you know if you watch any of my content online. You know, I hang around with the same people I've known forever. So, no, I don't ever miss the brokey days, but speaking about them with my old friends makes me appreciate what I have now.
So where did you go from there, Tristan?
So we go from the sandwich shop to selling television commercials on the phone. Well, that business, there was a small venture where my brother and another senior salesman at that company decided to start their own venture selling TV advertising, because the boss ran it very badly, to be honest with you. And I was working for them for a while, but that business ended up falling into nothing. I mean, we have my brother, he's probably, 20 years old at the time. First ever business he's run. The other guy, you know, probably 25, 26 at the time, but very irresponsible. And the business ended up collapsing and falling apart because television advertising died. I think that...
What year is this?
So 2010.
10, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
So the problem was, I think, that would be an impossible business to run nowadays. To call people and try to convince them to spend 20, 30, 40 grand on to TV. Advertise on television,
yeah, forget
they'd
it.
be like, well, I can get my niece to make a TikTok video and try and make it go viral.
Yep.
And the internet has killed television advertising. Only the biggest of the biggest companies now do it. So there's no more medium-sized companies aspiring to do it. So if you're thinking of selling TV advertising or starting that as a business, good luck to you. But I think today it would be very difficult. And it started failing around 2010. I worked a myriad of various sales jobs, from selling windows to home improvements. I actually made a lot of money when conservatory insulation first kicked off. So conservatories are either too hot or too cold, and people were insulating the ceilings. And I worked for a company in Milton Keynes with a guy who actually my former boss used to know, the former television advertising boss used to know, named Andy. And he ran this ragtag outfit of random salespeople from all sorts of backgrounds to go around, knock on doors, cold call, anything you could do to drag clients in, any house with a conservatory. So I used to go out on rainy days or super hot sunny days or super cold days and leaflet houses in nice areas like Radlett, like Hitchin, like the areas close to Luton, where people had conservatories in their houses, and I'd follow up on the leads and stuff. And I was the top salesman at the company.
Selling white gold.
I was making for myself well over £1,000 a week, which isn't bad, especially 10 years ago. Remember, £1,000 a week was
a lot of money.
It was a lot of money, and that was my first taste of ever actually having money, which is crazy because my threshold on having money is very low because I've been very broke. Having money at 23 meant to me that when I went to the supermarket, I could get anything I liked. That was wild.
Yeah, you have to think twice about it.
It's like, oh, pot noodles, yeah, I can afford these.
Yeah.
Oh, a jar of olives that costs £5 because they've got cheese in them. Okay, I can buy those. You could just buy whatever you liked from the supermarket. That was mind-blowing. That was my conservatory insulation sales job. I mean, I made very good money. And again, you learn a lot of very difficult lessons. You have the door slammed in your face. You have people answer the door with their dog barking at you. What do you want? And you're like, hello, sir. Well, I've noticed you have a conservatory, and you're trying to pitch them. It's very difficult. The internet has killed that. Every single year for the last probably 100 years, up until 2010, salesmen got better and better and stronger, and the science of sales was perfected. Now it's gotten worse. The younger generation aren't built to walk around in the rain and knock on doors and try to hustle money out of selling conservatory insulation or windows. Windows are hard to sell, bro. Everyone has windows.
Yeah.
Houses all have windows, and you have to knock on the door and convince him to get rid of his old ones.
And put the new ones in. There was a Netflix series called White Gold, right? It was all on the idea of these sales guys' comedy show selling PVC. They're basically just trying to sell this PVC as much as possible, telling these people to get rid of their old one for no apparent reason to get the new one in.
It's exactly what I do.
Like, that's a product. You have to just learn to sell it properly.
Yeah. And nowadays you have youngsters that just like, oh, well, sales is hard. You know, I sent a bunch of cold emails. I didn't get a reply. Cold email is hard?
Put
You
in
don't
on
know
hold
what
of the
hard
email
is.
just-
Try dialing them on the phone.
Yeah.
You probably have a lot more success.
How did you do with negotiations?
I've always dealt with rejections very, very well. I was very pragmatic. When I got a no, I obviously store the number, store the lead, call them back next week just to see if it was a final no. I had a very organized system, and I think that's a key to my lender's success. We're very organized people. He's probably more organized than me. He calls me disorganized, even though I'm 10 times more organized than the normal person because he's slightly more organized.
Yeah.
So quite annoying. So I was extremely polite. I've been polite with rejections in every single way my entire life, which is the best way to be. Woman rejects you, be polite. Sales customer rejects you, be polite. Be polite, manner, very, very far. And a lot of the customers who then maybe change their minds called me back because I was such a pleasant, at the time, young man. And they liked me. I built some rapport with them. When you get rejected in anything in life, say you go for a job interview and you get rejected, always behave like a gentleman and always behave amicably because it will eventually backfire if you start treating rejection badly. So I've always been fine with rejection. Doesn't bother me.
At this point then, Andrew being 2 years older than you, where is he financially?
Broke. He was actually making money kickboxing. He was actually making 3, 4, 5, 10 grand a fight. So he was making some, I call that broke, but
In the grand scheme of things,
looking back, it was broke. We still lived in a rented 2-bedroom apartment back then. But yeah, he was kickboxing. I was working the job. So if he didn't have any fights, because of my job, the rent was always paid. But then when he was winning fights, we could go on vacation and buy nicer things. So we've always worked together and pooled our resources together. We've never thought of ourselves as separate entities. You need a cigar. It helps.
Would you say you still have the sales skills in you?
100%.
Yeah?
If I went broke tomorrow, I could make the money back somehow. I could start selling cigars or ties or something. Yeah.
So if I told you right now, sell me this cigar,
You're putting me on the spot to sell you this cigar. What's your experience with cigars?
sometimes they can get to my throat a bit and then end up coughing or something like
Well,
that.
that's your problem. That's because you've been buying the lower quality cigars. What's your typical budget when you purchase each stick?
The most I've spent on a cigar is probably about £200.
See, well, that's your problem right there because this cigar actually costs $350 per cigar. And the way that the tobacco is aged before they roll it is the key. The smoothness of the cigar comes not when you make it, not when you roll it, not when you put the label on it, but it's the process after picking the tobacco to drying it, flavoring it, spicing it, and aging it. And that's where the smoothness comes in, like a fine whiskey or a fine cognac. So what you need to do is smoke fewer cigars per week. Don't go for 3 or 4 at $100, $200 each. Just treat yourself every Friday night to one of these. This is truly exceptional. The coughing will stop. The smoothness will be there. You'll notice a greater enjoyment from your cigar experience than you've ever enjoyed before. It's $350. Do you want this?
And $350 seems a bit out of my budget, man.
Well, you know what? If you can't afford it, that's perfectly fine because I have customers who can. And things like this, they don't stay on the market for very long. So if you don't want to buy it, it's no problem for me. And you could stick to what you have and keep coughing.
Gears have got to be right there. Light the cigar up. I just want to talk about that quickly as well, right? That cigar, that lighter you got right there.
Yes.
Talk to me about it because we'll talk about it off camera and I was like, nah, this is crazy.
This is an St. DuPont roulette complication lighter. Cost me $55,000. It's one of the jewels of my lighter collection.
I think I just made a full mess of that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, and you cut it badly, but it's okay. It's all right.
We're trying.
You cut it. See, your inexperience is showing just there.
Inexperience, yeah.
So this has a roulette complication in it. It's got rubies. It's made by Tissot, the watch manufacturer. The mechanism inside. It's made out of white gold.
Yep.
And has a flame to light your cigars with. So now, ask me to sell you this lighter.
Go on.
Not worth it. Can't do it.
Really?
Nope. Be super rich and be super extravagant, and maybe you'll buy it because you're insane like me. But
Yeah.
there's no way I can convince you to buy this lighter.
But why would you justify spending that much money on a lighter? I get that you smoke cigars and you like cigars.
Yeah.
But smoking that much money on it is insane.
Roll the top towards you.
Oh, towards me, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why would I buy that lighter? Because I like it. You know, when I was young and poor, I'm going to explain this. When I was young and poor, I used to see people buy very expensive things. And I would think of all the things I could buy instead. You have to keep it in your mouth while you light it. And there we go, until the whole end is glowing red. Smoother than your other cigars, right? There we go.
is, so
You
just
know
close
what? This one's on the house. I'm not going to charge you $350. No problem.
Close it?
Yep, just close. So lighters like this, I mean, I used to see rich people buy things like that. And if I was broke, if I was 19 and you were to put me in front of a person who bought a $55,000 lighter, I'd be like, oh, $55,000, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd upgrade my car, I'd buy a new bed, I'd rent a bigger apartment, I'd do all these things with 55 grand. That's a waste. What should I have done with the money instead? I already feed kids all over the world. I already have everything I want. Why not have that lighter? It becomes a matter of why not.